Morning, everyone. My name is Dane Hinker, and I have Julia Luger here with me. We'd like to introduce you and welcome you to the Clean.Drain.Dry Rapid Response Communication Kit webinar. And to start out, just wanted to give a bit of background. There's a lot of people that are new to invasive species, especially in the aquatic realm. And the Clean.Drain.Dry initiative, we've been around since 2006. It's Wildlife Forever's one of our signature programs to educate the public against the threat of invasive species through outreach and education. And it's really made up of a national network. We have many partners, including local, state, federal, really working with people across the country to implement the consistent best management practices that are science-based of Clean.Drain.Dry to educate the public on how to prevent the spread. And really, the goal is sharing resources so that folks don't have to reinvent the wheel and are also using consistent messaging, which is super important in promoting behavior change and getting people to adopt the practices. And why is it so important? Research is finding that cost analysis of prevention is hugely important. It's 17 times cheaper than management once a species is established. And especially on the aquatic side, we know that 99%, if not more, is human spread. And so getting people to change their behaviors through the many different vectors of spread is key. A little bit of history, origins of Clean.Drain.Dry, we didn't invent it, it's been around a long time. Our initiative actually started in 2006 with a grant with the Forest Service. At that time it was called the Threat Campaign. And we identified a need to create unified messaging across the country. So many partners were using various campaigns and messages to the public. And it can be a bit confusing for people, driving across state lines, across the country, seeing different things. And so what we did is created a campaign, eventually landed on just Clean.Drain.Dry, just like stop, drop, and roll. Luckily, it's the easy message, it's concise, and it's also exactly what we want people to do. And we've measured our impact over the course of our history since 2006 with impressions, and that's through our multimedia campaign. And since 2006, we've had 1.9 billion impressions. And to give you a little bit of background on behavior change and how our campaign is targeting some of the behavioral psychology elements, I wanted to give kind of a brief overview of these concepts. And really, it's revolving around removing barriers for people. And we've kind of categorized those into three main barriers. So the lack of knowledge. People aren't going to change their behavior if they don't know anything about the problem. So getting that education and awareness into the hands of the public through brochures and conversations and media is huge. Next is perceived difficulty. People pull up to a boat ramp and they may know about Clean.Drain.Dry, but that just sounds too hard. So I'm going to just drive away, go to the next lake, and not really worry about it. And lastly, people forget. We have busy lives and very fast-paced. People may have the right intentions, but just forget to do it. And so what we've done is create a strategy to resolve these barriers and get past them through prompts and tools, through a multimedia communication campaign, getting that message out there to folks at the right time, right place, and to the right people, targeted audience. And getting back to our Clean.Drain.Dry message, it's concise, it's consistent, and we're using vivid imagery, eye-catching to really grab people's attention. And lastly, we've developed a suite of tools, hand tools, physical tools that people can use to be able to get past that perceived difficulty aspect and really empower boaters, anglers, all recreational users to clean, drain, dry their equipment. And lastly, it's about developing a culture. So we're trying to create elements of peer pressure. As changes happen, people start to adopt these behaviors. It becomes harder and harder for folks to go against that, and people want to follow the crowd. And so we start to begin to create norms around the behavior. And so before we jump into the kit, I wanted to give folks just kind of a quick look at some of the things that we've been doing through this multimedia outreach campaign, and it's going to cover a lot more than I'm going to go through now, but just a few examples are boat ramp signage. So again, getting the message out at the right place at the right time to the right people. We also do a number of different highway billboards across the country, and this has been a huge boost in awareness for us. Billboards create a huge number of impressions, and it also can be extremely targeted for different areas where you're hoping to get the message out to. We also have TV PSAs, and really we found that partners who've done surveys on their audiences and their jurisdiction, TV has been one of the biggest reasons for people to understand what invasive species are, and also reiterating the practices for them to prevent the spread. So a great tool there. And so of the arsenal of tools that we've created over the years, we've really found a gap in some of the messaging, and that has been around when a new infestation hits. The aliens have landed, now what? Do we stop the messaging? It's too late. And the answer is no. And we needed something to get that message out to the public in the event of a new infestation. And so that's really the purpose behind this rapid response communication kit. And it was, a huge partner in the Forest Service. We got a grant to put together this kit, and we'll go through some of the elements now. Before I do that, I also wanted to show you some of the design processes that we went through. Here's one of the options. Our tone that we were going for was, we want a sense of urgency to the public. This is a huge problem, and we need you to pay attention. This is an emergency response type of a situation, and we still want to make it positive. This is a rallying call. We're not trying to shame you. It's, come on, do your part. So this option on the left here was one that we looked at. We didn't go with it, but you can see clean your dang boat. Tell your friends, tell your relatives, tell your fishing buddy, tell strangers at the boat launch. CYBD means clean your dang boat. And so, it's another slogan. We didn't want to confuse people too much with, we got to memorize another acronym. It's kind of fun. We liked it, but it's not urgent enough for what we were going for. Here's another one that we reviewed with the team. Don't spread BTDs, boat transmitted diseases, bait transmitted diseases, and boot transmitted diseases. It's up to you to prevent spreading BTDs such as zebra mussels, Eurasian water milfoil to the next lake. It only takes once for a lake to be ruined. Again, another acronym. It's more fun a little bit. It wasn't exactly the tone that we were going for. So we landed on this design style. Spread the word, not the milfoil. And we have milfoil in here as an example, but really plug and play the species that has hit. And we'll show you some examples of other species that we've done. Your area has tested positive for milfoil. Alert your friends and family. Let's prevent it from happening to the next lake. Always remember to clean, drain, dry, boats, trailers, and gear. So we're getting at, what we want people to do. Hey, alert we have a species that's hit. In this example, this is an ad that we've created. It says your area lake. We also have ads that can be targeted to a specific lake, so we can work with partners to customize that. And it's also then tying back into our traditional campaign of Clean, Drain, Dry. We wanted to maintain that consistency so that people knew that what this is a part of that campaign that they've been seeing for years. And so right off the bat, we've created ground-ready tools for 6 different species. We picked kind of 6 of the hardest hitting or early species on watch list right now. So we got invasive carp, Eurasian water milfoil, starry stonewort, red swamp crayfish, New Zealand mud snails, and zebra mussels. And now I'll turn it over to Julia, and we can go through the tools.
Great, thanks, Dane. Yeah, so like Dane said, we have a host of ground-ready tools for lake associations or other organizations to use to spread the word about a new infestation. The first one, which is really easy to use and really quick to spread the word, are press releases. They're ready to use. You can tailor them with your own quote, with your own logos, with the area that you might be in. And it's a great, super easy way to reach an audience in your state or in your local community. We also created ground-ready videos. So these are in format for both TV and the web. And like Dane said, it's a really effective way. Other partners who have been using PSAs have shown that they have been super effective at sharing the message. And we're actually going to show you an example of what one of our PSAs looks like.
Please be aware, our area waters have tested positive for invasive species. Starry stonewort destroys fish habitat and clogs boat motors. These dense weed mats prevent swimming, boating, and recreation on the water. Always remember to clean, drain, and dry boats and any gear used out on the water. Spread the word, not the weeds.
Nice. So, as you can see, the videos are really clean and clear. They have the same consistent eye-catching imagery, the same color, and they actually can be tailored with your logos on the video so that folks can see that it's impacting, your area. Oh, sorry about that. There we go. So moving on, that same audio content we created into radio broadcasts. So many boaters might not be sitting at home watching TV. They might be listening to the radio as they drive from the cities, where they live up to their cabin or out to their fishing hole. So you can connect with your audience, when they're on the move, when they're going from one place to another. Radio is a great way to regionally target an area. You can broadcast within one radio frequency. And again, the radio audio can be customized for your area. Now, one kind of startling, or maybe not so startling fact is that the average American spends about 11 hours in front of a screen, be that their computer or their cell phone or the TV. And so kind of the new age of reaching people is reaching them through digital advertising and through social media. We created a set of really eye-catching visuals that can be shared through social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook, or can be formatted as pop-up ads in regional areas. So you can target the space that your users might be looking at it, and the bright green imagery will catch their eyes. They're scrolling through their Facebook feed. Print ads are another great way to reach people, right before or while they're in the area. A lot of county shoppers and local newspapers can offer space for print ads that share the message about a new infestation. We also have worked with outdoor magazines and even put ads into your state game and fish regulations so that you are specifically targeting hunters and anglers that are going to be using those publications and will be using your resources. Now, Dane already touched a little bit on our work of highway billboards, but I'll just reiterate, these are super cost effective and are a great way to reach thousands of people. What we do is we look at what are key highways where a large corridor of people are moving from one place to another. Here in Minnesota, looking at places between the Twin Cities and the Lakes area. These billboards can target tons of people who are moving into an area that might be infested and can remind them of the steps they need to take to stop the spread of invasive species. Now, these are a set of tools that are really great. These are our boots on the ground tools. We've created postcards, brochures, and signs that can be used by sending them directly to landowners or boaters and anglers that are in an area of an infestation. These can also be used by boat ramp inspectors or other folks that might be interacting directly with the public to give them that message and have something physical in their hand that they can look at to remind themselves of why it's important to clean, drain, and dry their boats, trailers, and gear. Our last tool that we have is tools. Like Dane said, lack of tools is a big reason that people forget or improperly clean, drain, and dry. So we've got a variety of tools. We have the CD3 cleaning stations, boat brushes, and the aqua weed stick, that, along with many others, that can either be used directly at the boat ramp. They could be put in place at a high trafficked boat ramp, or could be purchased and given to boat ramp inspectors or other people in the area to help facilitate them to properly clean, drain, and dry and stop the spread of invasive species. I'm going to pass it back to Dane to wrap up our last piece here.
Very nice. Yeah, so that kind of covers the kit. Before we close out and make a call for questions, just wanted to share with you another project that we have going on here at our headquarters, and it's really a big project for 2020. We're hoping to release it next spring or summer, and we're calling it our Invasive Species Resource Library. And so it's really going to be an online portal for kind of a one-stop shop for people to be able to go to get, and we've kind of split it up into 3 different pillars within invasive species. So outreach and education, management, and research. Right now, there's so much information on invasive species out there, and it's just spread throughout the ethos of the internet, and it's so hard for, I guess resource managers probably have the best time of it because you kind of know where stuff is and know where to find it. But for the public and policymakers, it's a lot harder, and I think that needs to be clear. And so we're hoping to put that together and want to make sure that that's a resource that you all know that's coming for you to be able to share what's going on and what's relevant in each of these categories as well. So with that, I think we'll move on to any questions. So like we said earlier, if you want to ask a question, you just have to make sure to unmute your phone, and be happy to take any.
So what about for folks that are colorblind? The bright green might not be so visually appealing?
Yeah, no, you're right. That would be something that's an aspect that for those folks, unfortunately, that'd be an aspect that's not as hard as hitting. We still have, the text and aspects, the icons that would stand out. So trying to make it as applicable for as many audiences as we can. But yeah, good point.
And we do also offer customization. So if your organization didn't like the green, we would be open to altering or changing this to suit your needs.
This is Heidi Wolf with Minnesota DNR. Where in the process, or how does your press release fit into the DNR's process?
I think that's one aspect, Heidi, that folks do a really great job at now, especially Minnesota DNR. You guys do a great job at getting press releases out. This is really more of a tool for folks that don't already do that. It's already written. You plug in your local area, the lake that's infested, the species, and you run it. So if it made sense for you guys to work with us to create more custom press releases, or if you want to take a look at an example of one or two of them, we could certainly try to pair up on that. But a lot of these tools are just there as more of an a la carte to choose from. Obviously everything takes funds to implement, and budget is usually the limiting factor. Fortunately, press releases are free. So yeah, it's really if it's a need and if it's a help. But if you're already covering that aspect, then great.
Hi, it's Steve Gunther from Lake Minnewaska. Where do we get the kit? I mean, I've been on the website, you have the PDF for it, but if I want to customize specific things for my lake, how can I get access to the materials to do that?
Yeah, so right now we have design files. They were put together in Adobe Illustrator, but we're working to create a shareable way for those files to be transferred. They're free to use. So Steve, if you want to reach out, we can connect over email for the time being, but we're hoping to be able to get those files up and available to share so that people that have that capacity to customize it themselves, they can be able to do that. And we are also offering that as a service. That's something that we've been able to provide here with the Clean.Drain.Dry initiative for folks that are unable to do that. We know that not everybody has that expertise or even the programming, and so we'd be happy to work with local groups all the way up to state and federal groups that need that. So would love to be in touch, and more coming soon.
Hi, Dane, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, great. It's Craig Martin with Fish and Wildlife Service. Thank you for the presentation today. It was excellent. My question is, with the concept of perimeter defense, where you have maybe state or federal lands that people are looking to protect and engaging the local communities, municipalities as an example, I think is really important. What steps does Wildlife Forever plan to take to help get this information out to local municipalities?
So what we've been doing at this point, now that the kit has been available, any new infestation that we see come across, whether it be through press releases, that's a lot of it, get through the media, reach out to those contacts locally, and try to see interest to work with us to get this kit implemented. And really it has been, up to this point, just reaching out to those local groups. Some of it has been DNR as well, but a lot of lake associations and local groups to try to say, hey, we have these tools available.
I'm just putting that out there.
I think
That's a condition.
really a missed opportunity to not get the message out. And so, but yeah, that's been the challenge so far. We've had some interest with Forest Service in certain areas, and also DNR. There's also been a lot of interest with lake associations, but nobody has bitten off on the project to try to implement it yet. So we're really looking forward to getting a pilot out there and hopefully get some evaluation done as well.
Doug Jensen asked, who reviewed these tools? You mentioned something about a team.
Yeah, so we had kind of a review team. We worked with a group here locally, marketing firm, to put some of this together, and we're somewhat of a marketing firm ourselves. We've kind of found the niche here at Wildlife Forever to put these tools together, but to try to get some feedback from people that would actually be using it. We worked with folks in Iowa, DNR folks there, to try to review. We also had various lake associations across the country to give some review, and really helpful to get that feedback and to know what folks that are actually going to be implementing it think, and so super helpful.
Okay, and then Susan asked, did you conduct focus group testing before choosing the final design?
So, like I said, we had some of that review with folks that we're going to be implementing it with, but really the true evaluation, if partners would like to see that, we're hoping to create a pilot and create some evaluation to get some surveys out to the public on, how did you feel about the content, and be able to share some of that with you as well. But until we have an example to get it out there, and it's looking like that's of interest in, Wisconsin and some other states, really interested to see some of that evaluation as well. But until we can get a pilot, it's tough to say. But some of the initial evaluations were super positive, saying that, this is exactly what we're looking for and have been needing for a long time. So, but yeah, more to come. Okay, and so we had another question again on how to obtain the kit. And so right now we have a PDF on our website. If you go to Clean.Drain.Dry.org to see all the components, and we also have the kit kind of laid out digitally on our website. But we would love to work with anybody, any partners that are interested in implementing, to share the files. We can do that email, or we share. There's other ways to obtain some of these larger files. Like I said, they're in Adobe Illustrator. Some of those can be a bit larger. But if somebody doesn't have the capacity to customize for local application, we'd love to work with you to customize that, adding logos, adding specific lakes. So please reach out to myself, and would love to get in touch with you. And looks like we have another question here. When will we be notified that the kit is available free electronically? So we're gonna, once we get a way to share those graphic files online, we'll send out another email blast to this group that received notification that it's up and ready. And it looks like Ken Donnelly, thanks for the question. We have, what is trademark Clean.Drain.Dry initiative, or Clean.Drain.Dry? So Clean.Drain.Dry on its own is trademarked for the protection of that campaign, and it's actually owned by AFWA right now, which is actually free and able to be used by anybody. And it was trademarked not for solitary purposes, but more for the protection of that that BMP, that best management practice, and campaign use. And what we've done is we've trademarked Clean.Drain.Dry initiative to kind of signify our brand, if you will, for our campaign and how we arrange it. All right. And then we got another question from Doug Jensen. How are you planning to evaluate this effort? Touched on this, looking for local partners to, once implemented, get some surveys out and really hear feedback on effectiveness.
Do we have any final questions or anything we didn't cover fully?
So we have a message here. Can you provide an idea on the cost to help develop a PSA video? And so what we have are 6 different ones that are already made, so free to use. If we wanted to develop another one for a different species, you know, the price can range from $2,000 to $4,000 for some of these professionally done videos. We like to do a grouping of them to try to get that quantity discount to, you know, make it more cost effective. But yeah, I'd say around $2,000 is just a rough cost. Let's see. Okay, well, thank you everybody for your time. Really appreciate the call in and interest in the kit, and look forward to much more follow up with each of you if you're interested in implementing. Again, appreciate it, and we will talk with you all soon. Goodbye.